Wizards dub in the preseason and the Queen City. Next on Locked On Wizards.
You are Locked On Wizards, your daily Washington Wizards podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
What's up, everybody? It's your boy Brandon Scott again with my guy, the real Ed Oliver. Thank you for making Locked On Wizards your first listen every day. We are free and available wherever you get podcasts. So, Ed, the dub, starting off with a preseason win, big win tonight with the dub. So, what were your positives with this game tonight?
I thought the first quarter they came out with some energy. They got deflections, DeLon Wright. Other guys were getting deflections, getting steals. They forced 8 turnovers. But they shot the 3 ball really well in the first quarter. I was excited. Kristaps Porzingis knocked down a couple threes. Will Barton, Kuzma hit 2 threes. And that was one of my biggest concerns was three-point shooting. I know you said that you believe that they'll be a better three-point shooting team. And I think that comes with better point guard play, guys who move the ball, facilitate the ball. The ball didn't stink. Didn't stick. There was good ball movement. Anthony Gill starting was different for sure, and I thought he plugged and played pretty well there starting off. Will Barton knocked down a 3. The pick and pop with Kristaps was working well. Those were my positives. They really shut the ball well from the 3-point line. I really love the deflections, and they're really getting more aggressive, getting their hands in the passing lanes. That's something that they didn't do last year, getting steals and deflections. So I thought there was a difference there for sure. But my positives from that first quarter, overall, of course, I love the way the young guys played. Quentin Jackson, Vernon Carey, Jordan Goodwin being a pest, getting his hands in the passing lanes. He had 4 steals tonight. Kristaps, we'll talk about the injury later, but Kristaps, man, he looked as good as we've talked about this all season. For him to be ranked number 86 is ridiculous. I know it's injuries, of course. An injury, unfortunately, happened tonight, so that's a big part of why he probably is at 86 in the ESPN ranking or the CBS rankings in 80s. But, man, when this guy is healthy, he's locked in. Look how athletic he is for a 7'3" guy, how fluid he is, how skilled. Had a couple dunks. He was flying in for a rebound. So I was like, oh, man, he dove on the floor for a loose ball. And, unfortunately, he ends up getting hurt on, kind of a freak accident, just stepping on somebody's foot, kind of like what Corey Kispert did. But those were my main – guys were able to score without Bradley Beal, without Denny, without Corey Kispert. Guys were able to step up and score. Now, we'll talk about the transition defense later too. But just sticking on the positives, that's what I loved. And the young guys responded and bounced back because they didn't play well against the Warriors in that fourth quarter. I thought the young guys responded well. Some of the guys that are fighting for that second contract, the 2-way contract, and fighting for G League minutes, G League spots, or trying to, maybe possibly make the Wizards roster. Unfortunately, with the injuries and whatnot, we're probably gonna have to use some of these guys like Jordan Goodwin and Quentin Jackson and Shackle didn't play tonight, but with guys being in and out of the lineup, who knows who's going to have to be called up. So those were my positive takeaways from tonight.
Yeah, no, you're on point. The previous episode we talked about what my keys to victory were, and look, they must have watched the episode because, look, KP showed out in the first quarter. At one point he was 3 for 3 behind the arc. Like you said, diving loose balls, the energy. He was, he wasn't so much in the paint. He operated, at the top of the key a lot. But yeah, I'll take it. Kuz stepped up. And again, the veteran stepped up. This is what I wanted to see. Kuz, look, 15 points, 5 rebounds, 3 assists. Kuz was on point. His shooting was a lot better from the previous 2 games. So, that's what I wanted to see. I wanted to see the Kuz and KP step up and take a leadership role and really, they did their thing. But like you said, you hit the nail on the head. Quentin Jackson and Jordan Goodwin. Wow. They have a future. I see that, and they have a future with this organization because the energy. Quentin Jackson got bounced, man. I don't know if you saw that dunk, but he's got some serious bounce. So I was impressed with the young guys. Johnny, scoring for the first time. He had a little energy tonight. He put some work in tonight. Defensive end, he was on point. So I love what I saw from the team. Monte Morris had an off night shooting, but on a positive note, the assists. The assists were there. You saw the penetration in the lane. You saw with his penetration through the lane, a lot of open shooters. So, we preached a lot about this, not the defense, the offense being more fluid, more fast. He penetrated the lane and, like I said, so many open shots. So overall, very impressed with this team tonight.
Definitely, yeah. You brought up assists. I didn't even bring up Rui. I think you brought up Rui, but Rui had a really nice dunk. Kuz had a couple. He had a nice dunk as well. Gafford, I thought he finished well around the rim and had some good rebounds. I did want to see him play better defensively in rebound because I think he let Nick Richards get the best of him at times. Same thing with sometimes Mark Williams got the best of him running the floor. They really have to work on transition defense. But you brought up assists. The Wizards had 29 assists tonight, and that shows the ball movement and the unselfishness. And that's something that when they thrive when they move the basketball. They thrive when they move the basketball, and that's when they're at their best. Especially with Bradley Beal being out tonight. They shot 38% from the 3-point line, which they were the worst 3-point shooting last year in the league, and they were knocking it down. Free throws didn't get to the free throw line much. Definitely need to improve on rebounding, but defensively, I love the way they fought hard. And Rui showed it once again that he is a mid-range assassin. He was getting to his spots, knocking down those mid-range shots. And we'll see if he competes for a starting spot at the 3, as we saw Wes Unseld Jr. kind of experimenting tonight, starting Anthony Gill.
Yeah, Wes has got he's got a hard decision because, on one hand, Rui showed why he should start. Mid-range is on point. He looked good tonight. This overall with the preseason, he looks good. He's really making this a hard decision for West. But Will Barton, what I like from him is he can create his own shot. You saw a lot of ball handling with him, and I mean his ability to create his own shot. That's why I say that it makes this a really hard decision because I like both of these guys starting at the 3. And I mean Kuz. Man, Kuz showed out tonight. I mean, I'm very impressed with this win. They really showed out in the absence of Bradley Beal and Denny being out, Corey being out. They really, and like you said, the young guys really showed out tonight. I mean, Jordan Goodwin and Quentin Jackson. I mean, that shows how much depth we've had. This depth is incredible in this team. When you got guys that are fighting for 2-way contracts that are playing out like this, I mean, that's depth. So, yeah, overall, very impressed with the team tonight. But before we move on, tonight's episode is brought to you by Built Bar. If you haven't tried Built Bar Plus yet, you are depriving yourself of one of life's greatest joys. And guess what? There's a new flavor. Ready? Delicious, indulgent cookie dough covered in chocolate. That's right. Built has done it again. Let me introduce you to the new favorite. Cookie dough chuff puffs have a light and chewy texture. Real cookie dough chunks, and of course, they're covered in 100% real chocolate. All of the joys of eating cookie dough without the hassle of making it. Plus, it's healthy for you. Cookie dough chunk puffs are only 160 calories, and they have a whopping 15 grams of protein in them. Run to Built.com to snag a box for you and the family. It'll be a perfect treat. Or you can find a really good hiding place and just hoard them for yourself. Like all Built bars, the new cookie dough chunk puff is covered in 100% real chocolate. It means they're healthy and tasty. Chocolate-covered cookie dough with a light, fluffy texture. So good. What's good about Built is that all their bars are made with collagen protein, which your body absorbs more efficiently and provides tons of health benefits. Eat something that tastes good and is good for you. If you're going to love the new cookie dough chunk puff, whether you need a snack for your workout, a late night treat, or just need to grab a quick bite, Built is the perfect protein bar, and it tastes better than a candy bar. Ditch the calories, fat, and sugar. Grab yourself a Built bar. Offer. Go to Built.com, use promo code LOCKEDON15 and get 50% off your order. Use promo code LOCKEDON14. So, let's get into the negatives. There's not many of them, but, we got to talk about it.
Definitely transition defense. Looking up the fast break points for the Hornets. They had 16 fast break points, and I talked about this last night where the Hornets were third in fast break points. They like to push the pace. That's what they want to do. That's what in LaMelo Ball. That's what he does. He gets the rebound and he looks up. He's looking to throw the ball up court to the big or whoever's running. Same thing with Rozier. Rozier gets the rebound. He's looking to push. Dennis Smith Jr. We know how athletic he is. He's just a bouncy guard out of NC State. He's been bouncing from team to team, but he's just so athletic. He's looking to push. They got young guys that are looking to push and run. They're a young team, a young athletic team, and I think they did get the best out of the Wizards. Best of the Wizards. I think Gafford He did score. He had about 15 points. He had 15 points and he had 14 points and 7 boards. But you look at their bigs, guys like Nick Richards had 15 points and 8 boards. And a lot of Nick Richards' baskets, actually all of his baskets were really hustle baskets, running baskets. It's not like he was posting up and scoring. All Nick Richards' baskets were either offensive rebounds, putback dunks, easy layups, it was just too easy for these guys. Not a lot of resistance. Same thing with Mark Williams, their backup rookie big man out of Duke. When he came in, same thing. He just ran the floor and got easy dunks or easy layups. And that's something that we have to cut down on. We are too athletic. We are too young to let stuff like that happen. Gafford is too young and athletic to not get back on defense. And it wasn't just him. It was other guys, too, that played a part in this. So that's something that West really has to harp on going forward before they play the Knicks on Friday, their next preseason game. And also another negative to me, too, was the defensive side of the ball. I thought at some points, Rozier was getting some baskets. He's just a tough cover. LaMelo Ball is just a tough cover. These are guys that can really break you down one-on-one, in and outs, crossovers, all kinds of things. We struggled against the Hornets last year because of this, because we couldn't stay in front of LaMelo Ball. We couldn't stay in front of Terry Rozier. Rozier did the sham god move last year on the Wizards. It was cooking the Wizards. Rozier had 24 points. LaMelo struggled tonight, 2 for 10. He had an ankle injury to look like tonight too. And same thing with Book Night. We struggled to stay in front of Book Night a little bit tonight too. But yeah, those are the things. They just got to clean that up defensively on the defensive side of the ball, getting back on defense. They let LiAngelo Ball score tonight too. So they got to get back on defense. They just have to.
No, you hit the nail on the head. Transition defense was atrocious tonight. And, the second thing on defense, setting up the defense was sloppy. The guys were, kind of pointing out their assignments late. And then, letting the center get past your defense is kind of, it's like, what are we doing? Because, like you said, Nick Richards was getting whatever he wanted on the transition.
I know Gortat is not going to be happy about this.
Oh, absolutely not. There was one play, second quarter, where Nick Richards got there and got an and one. So that was a big moment in the second quarter for me. But, we got to clean up the defense on transition. When we go against these faster teams, they're going to blow us out because, transition D is essential. And another negative, rebounding. Wow, rebounding. Yeah. I mean, they out rebounded us, and it was just, the players I looked at, Rui, that was the one negative about Rui. Rebounding, I know he got 7 rebounds, but there was a few rebounds, especially in the second half, where it was just, I thought he should have got him. Gaff, same with Gaff. They got to get better with boxing out. We're talking about the bare minimum when it comes to basketball, boxing out. They got to get better with the basics. Boxing out was atrocious. Was it JT Thor? A few times he dove through the lane, got a rebound. They got to do a lot better with box out. But overall, I'm very impressed with the team. Coming back home from Japan, being without a lot of guys. Corey's out, Denny's out, Brad is out. These young guys stepped up. Kuz and KP stepped up. It's very unfortunate that KP went down with injury. Right. Hopefully it's not long term. Ankle again is like parts of the leg. It's really shaky to tell. High ankle sprains can be 4 to 6 weeks or plus. So hopefully it's on the short term. But before he went down, KP was very impressive. I mean, look, at one point he's 3 from 3 from behind the arc. His playmaking. He was playmaking a little bit. I mean, KP looked impressive. He showed why, he should get a lot of respect on his name. ESPN should be ashamed of themselves. They should, because he showed out tonight. I mean, Kuz, he didn't shoot very well in Japan, but, going to Charlotte, he looked good. I mean, the jump shot was rolling. And Rui, like you said, 15 points, 3 boards. I mean, Rui, this is a hard decision, because on one hand, you want to start Rui. The athleticism is there. The dunk, we mentioned the dunk. But in the second hand, Will Barton, he showed that this is a tough decision for West. So, I mean, what do you think? I mean, if you had to go right now, if the season started tomorrow and you had to choose between Rui and Will Barton, which way would you go?
It's tough. I mean, Will Barton, he showed the isolation score that he can be. He had a nice step back jumper as well and had a really nice pass to Daniel Gafford. And he hit a 3 as well tonight too. So I mean, he's just a seasoned veteran. That's a winner. Has 6 assists tonight. Monte Morris has 7 assists tonight. Monte Morris went 0 for tonight. He was 0 for 8, but he was able to impact the game in other ways. I'm gonna get to your question too, but I just wanted to point that out. But yeah, I mean, they're making it tough for Wes right now. Of course, Denny is out of the equation because of the injury. Corey Kisper's out of the equation because of his injury as well. So it's really between Rui and Will. And right now, I'd probably go with Rui, to be honest, because I like Rui starting and him being aggressive. The way he was aggressive tonight, I love that. I love the way he was in Japan too. And I like having him and Kuz out there, two guys who can switch at the 3 and the 4 and be interchangeable and just have long wingspans. And the athleticism from Rui. And Rui started before too, and he's done a good job starting his rookie and sophomore year. Barton, I just like his fit coming off the bench, but I understand if he starts too because the guy can play, man. He can knock down threes and he can really play make, and he can play above the rim at times too. So I think he would be a fine starter as well. I have no problem with him starting, getting to see him in these last couple of games. But yeah, through Wes's eyes, I think Will's going to start. I think Wes already has that set in his mind. Will Barton started at the 3. But I would have Rui at the 3, and then I think Will would really help this bench unit because the bench unit, they need self-creation. They don't have a lot of guys that can create a shot for themselves. And I think Will would definitely thrive with the bench unit, him and Gaff playing together. And Will could average 13 to 14, 15 points off the bench and be in the conversation for be a 6 man of the year candidate, at least get some votes.
Absolutely. You hit the nail on the head. It's a tough decision because I think this season going out, I think eventually Will Barton's going to be a 6 man because Rui is so much potential, 3-level scorer. I mean, he's showing out this preseason. Mm-hmm. It's what you want to see from Rui. He's really, to me, he's got to be a front runner for the starting position at the 3. Because I mean, obviously Kuzma's got the 4, so naturally, Rui, you could slide Rui right into the 3. But I'm very impressed. I mean, this is a good win for us. I know it's preseason. You don't want to get too happy. It's preseason, but. When you see your team, play, I mean, the passing, we were passing. I mean, when you see your team really playing well, you get happy, whether it's preseason or not. You know what I mean? It's just, they were passing well. It's really good team basketball. And that's what I want to see from the team because when you deal with injuries, like you said, Brad Bill was out. So they responded to that. And the same with, KP going out. You would think that, past teams, if Brad went out and if we had a KP, past teams, if we had 2 star players going out, very often than not, we're losing that game. You know what I mean? And it's not with this team. It's that mentality of next man up. The young guys came out tonight. So this team culture shows. This summer when they did the mini camp in LA, it shows. The teamwork, the chemistry, it shows. And that's why I'm very optimistic about the team going forward. First glance, you look at this team, it's like, it's the playing team. But I really am a big believer that if this team is running on all engines and everybody's doing their job, this can be a playoff team. So, I mean, what do you think? Based off the performance tonight, do you think they look more like a playoff team or the expectations still hovered around the 8 to the 10 spot for you?
Yeah, it's just so hard to tell because we have so many guys out, especially with Brad being out, Porzingis not playing in the second half. Corey being out, Denny being out, it's very hard to tell. And the Hornets, they are a measuring stick because they are going to be in that same playing range as us. I thought the first quarter they looked really good, but the second quarter, the Hornets did come back. They went on a comeback. They took the lead at one point in the second quarter. So that was disappointing and underwhelming there that second quarter. But I love the first quarter, the ball movement, the way they were knocking down threes. Porzingis just looked healthy, looked really good. He was dominating. So I do see a team that can make the playoffs. It's just health, man. And you saw it. Health concerns reared its ugly face and ugly head in this game. And Kristaps is the big question mark. How many games are you going to get from him? That's really going to decide this season. How many games are you getting from Kristaps? How many games are you getting from Brad? I know that's the easy take to say health. I took the easy way out, but I can see this team. I can see this team, beating out the Hornets. And the other possibly leapfrogging the Bulls. I could see them having a better record than the Bulls. They would have to be neck and neck with the Hawks and the Cavs and some. It's just the East is just ridiculous. The Raptors as well. But I do see this team making the play-in and possibly making the playoffs. I do see that. But like I said, health is just such a huge thing for Kristaps and Bradley Beal as well, man. So. But I love what I saw. I think they definitely are a better team from last year. But like I said, the East is just a bear, man. They are. It's not the East from 2 years ago. So it's just going to be tough on that part.
No, I agree. The East is a beast. I ain't trying to rap, but the East ain't no joke. This like we talked about a couple episodes ago. The West ruled for a long time, but now the East is the dominant conference. But the reason I'm so optimistic is this. There's nothing against Spencer Dinwiddie, but Spencer Dinwiddie was not a distributing point guard. He was a scoring combo guard. So if he wasn't scoring, he was out of his game. With Monte, he didn't shoot the ball very well tonight, but the assist numbers are up. That's what I want to see. That is a quality distributing first point guard. If his shot is not hitting that night, at least he's distributing the ball. So now Monte he still gets plus points from me because he still showed that point guard that we need for this team. Will Barton, he was shooting well tonight. This is the tough decisions you want in an organization. The depth is crazy right now, and it's just Rui. This is a good win. We needed this win.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there were times in the second half where they had Kuzma bringing the ball up, where he was penetrating and initiating offense. But we're gonna get to the comments. I see there's 42 people in the chat. We're gonna get to that next. But before we do, this episode is brought to you by Prize Picks. It's real easy. You can do over unders for football, but it's very easy to use. Tonight, I was taking Kyle Kuzma whether he would score more than 10 points or not. I hit the over on that. It's very easy to use. So this is how it works. You pick 2 to 5 players, and if they will score more or less than their Prize Picks projection, you can win up to 10 times your money on any entry. No competing against other people. It's just you versus the projections available. Prize Picks offers projections on any sport that you watch. This includes NBA, NFL, MLB, college football, men's college basketball, even cricket, and more. Entries can be made in 60 seconds or less. It's that easy. Safe and fast withdrawals. Currently operational in over 30 states and Canada. Download the Prize Picks app or go to prizepicks.com to sign up and play daily fantasy sports. First-time users can receive 100% instant deposit match up to $100 with promo code Locked On. If you deposit $100, Prize Picks will give you $100. If you deposit $50, Prize Picks will give you $50. Don't forget to enter promo code Locked On and sign up for an instant deposit match up to $100. Make sure you guys don't miss out. And then one more note before we get to the comment section. Johnny Davis, this was his best game by far. I think this was his best game. Summer League included. I thought he looked more calm. He didn't play a lot of minutes. Like I said before, Isaiah Todd didn't play. Taj Gibson didn't play. Jordan Shackle didn't play. Maker didn't play. Those were some of the guys that were suited up but still didn't play. I do think Johnny Davis could have got more minutes. I did want to see him play more. I wanted to see him play more in the fourth quarter, but of course they had to get Quentin Jackson and Jordan Goodwin and some other guys. Devin Dotson played. They had to get some other guys, give some other guys some good minutes. Like I said, Vernon Carey had a nice and one as well. DeLon Wright had 10 points. But I did want to see Johnny play a little bit more. But he had 4 points, was a +6 and a plus-minus box. 1 block, 1 assist. I did see the block. That was a nice block. I want to say it was on book night. But this was his best game. It was, and I want to see more. He had a nice backdoor cut, nice floater where he looked under control. I like what I saw from the young man. This was his best game by far. Is it a low bar? Sure, it is, but I saw improvements, and that's all we want to see from Johnny Davis.
Oh, absolutely. Like you said, it's just baby steps, so, but he showed out. He improved, it's a small show out, but he showed out a little bit, but he looked better, and that's what you want to see. That first points, you can see the confidence after that first basket, so no, very impressed with what I saw from Johnny Davis. But we can get into some of these comments. We're going to start out with Handyman. KP and Kuz were draining threes left and right, especially in the first quarter. Absolutely. That first quarter, we were rolling. I think we were up by 13, 15 points in the first quarter. Kuz and KP just the ball movement. The big reason why those two were very open tonight is the ball movement. You saw that team basketball. The ball movement was impeccable. It was on point. So I think, going forward, the fact that we had good ball movement and Brad is out, Denny's out, and Corey is out shows that how deep the team is. And when this team is operating in full engine, man, this is a dangerous team. What do you think, Ed?
Same thing, piggyback off of you, what you said. I mean, KP and Kuz were knocking down threes. Barton was included. That's one of my bigger concerns. They were dead last in 3-pointers made last year, bottom 5 in 3-point percentage. So that's something that I want to see them improve on. I think they improved on that in the second half of last year. Once again, it brings up just better point guard play where the ball is moving. We're not getting any grenade shots at the end of the shot clock. These are shots within the flow of the offense. They struggled to knock down threes against the Warriors, but they were knocking it down tonight. That's the thing about having Kristaps out there, too. He's a guy that can space the floor and knock down threes. So, I like what I saw from those guys tonight.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, this was a good team win. You know, a lot of people stepped up tonight. So, especially Kuz and KP. You know, we said it last episode. You know, one of the keys to victory was those two stepping up and taking the leadership role tonight. And they did that. So, all right, next comment. This is from my dude, Uptown Dre. He says, West could match up Barton and Rui 2-game, depending their opponent. But you don't want to miss the chemistry with one guy's playing extremely well. Totally agree. You know, there's a lot of guys who can play multiple positions. And with Barton and Rui, you know, you could easily see how, you know, you can mix and match depending on the opponent. You know, one game can be Rui, one game can be Martin, or Barton. You know, it shows how deep this team is and how it's good to have so many guys that play multiple positions. So, I mean, absolutely. You know, you could easily see both of these guys starting half the games of the year. What do you think, Ed?
Definitely. I mean, either one could start. It's more about who finishes too, rather than who starts. But either one could start. I'd be fine with either one start. But like I said, I would prefer Rui to start and Barton come off the bench because I think Barton can really dominate with that bench unit. Just be a microwave scorer, facilitator. He really can initiate offense. He's a guy that really can score and can really fill it up and really make it easier for guys and spoon feed guys or assist gaffer lobs. I like the connect. He said in the press conference too before the season started. He said, "I'm looking forward to play with Big Gaff," and you saw that for sure. So shout out to Uptown Dre. He's a longtime subscriber and definitely listens all the time. But yeah, quickly going through some of the comments too. Andy Man said the shooting. Also love the aggressiveness. We talked about that with Rui. I love his aggressiveness as well. I want to see more of that from him. That's the big question mark, is the consistent aggressiveness from Rui.
Absolutely. I mean, when he's an aggressive scorer, he's dangerous. His mid range is dangerous. I mean, I love what I see from Rui. I'm very excited because this is the Rui that I've been waiting for. You know, when he's on his game, I mean, he's an impressive scorer. You know, defense has been his only negative, and that's another thing I want to bring up tonight. You know, watching the game tonight, you know, he was coming at shooters. You know, he's getting shooters' faces. You know, he was covering that ground fast. You show the improvement on the defensive end with Rui. You know, years past, he wouldn't rush shooters. You know, he was very hesitant to go at the perimeter. Tonight he was getting in people's face. You know, he was, I love what I see from him. I would love to see him, start. It's just, this is a hard situation. This is something that it's weird because you remember a couple of years ago, we didn't have enough people. You know, now the last couple of years, we got too many people. And, it's just a good problem to have in this organization because it goes to Tommy Shepard. You know, taking those contracts of Wall and Westbrook and turning it into so much depth, you got to look at with Tommy. I mean, that's the part that I love from the GM, the GM office in the team, because now we have a problem. We have a good problem where we have so many guys who can start, and now West can really get into his rotations and really look at his opponents now. In years past, in second year from West, but under Scotty Brooks, we didn't have enough players. It was just you didn't really have the game plan because you only had so many guys. But now you have so many guys who can play multiple positions. It's just, I'm excited, Ed.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I know you bringing the heat. You bringing the energy, man. Preseason, you bringing it. I love it. Yeah, I mean, it's a good problem to have until it becomes a problem. Last year, it did become a problem. A lot of guys, won touches and more minutes, and unfortunately, we had a couple altercations in the locker room and whatnot. So it became a problem last year. But I think this group of guys is different. West just has to find his rotation, whether it's a 9-man rotation, whether it's a 10-man rotation. We had a lot of injuries last year too. Rui coming back from personal reasons, Thomas Bryant coming back from ACL injury. So there's just a lot of factors and a lot of unknown pieces coming back from injury and other factors last year. So this year, we'll see what happens. Hopefully Kristaps, the injury is not too long. Hopefully it's not out too long. Same thing with Brad, exited safety protocol, so he should be back soon as well, ready for the season. Denny, his status, hopefully he's back for the first game of the regular season. But yeah, like I said, it's a good problem until it becomes a problem. So, I think the guys are a better fit though. Chemistry wise, I think that's huge. So Uptown Dre says Q with the dunks has bounced. Yeah, that dunk that didn't count. And we need more athletes. He
got some serious bounce. I mean, that was the greatest dunk that didn't count. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, I mean, he's got some bounce. I mean, we called it. Quentin Jackson, we called that. It just shows how deep this team is. I mean, when you got guys that play on the go-go that are this explosive, that shows how much depth we have. So, yeah, I love what I see. I love what I see from the team. This is a first of, like I said, this is preseason, but you like to see team basketball with this team. This is a good quality win. So we're going to go ahead and wrap it up. Appreciate everybody watching tonight. Now, the next another sponsor tonight is Flex, the Ultimate Pro Basketball Preview. So thanks again for making Locked On Wizards your first listen every day. Now for your second listen, go check out the Ultimate Pro Basketball Preview 2022, a 6-episode extravaganza to get you ready for the NBA season. The local team experts and the NBA insiders of Locked On Podcast Network and Odyssey all combined in one Ultimate NBA Preview. Search for Ultimate Pro NBA Preview 2022 on your Odyssey app, YouTube, or wherever you get your podcasts. So everybody, like I said, the dub tonight, everybody. Have a good one. See you again. Peace.